Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well. Today, I want to share with you guys how I took this wannabe table and gave it a second opportunity to bring it back to life. So, this, if you can kind of imagine, is actually a table. I tried to lay it on the ground as best as I could to give you guys an idea of how it was built. This table belongs to one of my aunts, and when she showed it to me, it was actually built and held in place, but it was really beaten up. The top was extremely rough, and it had been outdoors in an open storage for some time, so it was super, super dirty. It has numerous nail and screw holes from where they try to hold the table together on the sides. And when it was disassembled, some of the legs broke off due to the amount of nails and screws. This table had been a part of my aunt's life for such a long time, and she wanted to bring it back to life. She had used it as a dining room table when her kids were very young and just had some beautiful memories with it. And in all reality, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to bring it back to life, but I was definitely up for the challenge. The very first thing I did was remove any nails and screws that were left behind on the legs.
Cash out, had enough, stuck here in the rut, time to switch it up. Cool kids shopping malls, good times, had it all, way too comfortable. Broken dreams, one-time machines, and trips to Neverland. Take the time to free your mind, do everything you can.
Here you go. Just to give you an idea of the amount of nails and screws that were holding this table in place. Now, I really needed to deep clean the table. I had no idea how I was going to get rid of all these layers of dirt. And as much as I wanted to just use a power wash on this piece, I didn't. Again, I wasn't sure how damaged or how delicate the piece was going to be, and just based on the amount of dirt. So I decided to use a dish brush, a wire brush, a scraper, and some warm water with soap. I just went to town. I started scrubbing each piece until most of the dirt came off.
Don't let it, don't forget it. Yeah, just do it, get into it, pull through it. We fall in love and out again. It's all the same.
Here is a side by side piece so you can see the difference close up. I did this process with the entire table over a handful of hours until I felt that it was clean enough to move forward.
Never ends, so don't get it, don't let it, don't forget it. Last call, present yours. School's out, hit the floor, stays home, getting bored. Wild nights, all the fun. Live life in the sun, things you should have done.
Another thing worth mentioning is that most every piece of this table had some old glue that was still stuck on the sides. I needed to remove this old glue for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was really dirty. There was no way to clean it off. And number two, in order to reassemble it correctly, I needed this old glue gone. So, with a small and super sharp precision knife, I started removing all of the old glue from all of the joints.
Broken dreams, one-time machines, and trips to Neverland. Take the time to free your mind.
I did place the pieces out in the sun to let them fully dry before sanding them. Once they were dry, I did use a 180 grit sandpaper to sand them down. Then I moved on to a 120 grit sandpaper and finally gave them a last little sanding with a 220 grit sandpaper. Because this table is solid wood, I wasn't worried about damaging the table. Now, if we were dealing with a veneer, that would have been a whole different story. And after sanding, this is what the tabletop looked like. It had an oil stain and kind of a red stain that just wasn't looking good. Man, I was kind of disappointed about that. But I had a backup plan. From the beginning, I figured that if the top of the table was super, super damaged, I would flip it over and I would use the bottom side of the table. Now, using the bottom side had its own challenges. There was a piece that broke off when it was being disassembled, and there were also a couple of holes where the table was connected. So, with that in mind, I needed to make sure I fixed those issues. Using some wood glue and furniture clamps, I puzzle pieced the broken part back together and then let it fully dry. Then I used some Bondo wood filler to fill in the holes and any other areas that needed to be fixed. By the way, let me take advantage and share with you guys what to do when using Bondo wood filler and what to avoid. Number one, avoid using reusable items. So I learned this the hard way. You see here, I'm using two plastic spatulas, one to mix and another one to apply the wood filler, and another one to hold it. There is the thing that once this product hardens, this is a pain to clean up. Something I'll be changing definitely is using items that I can throw away as soon as I'm done. So, for example, maybe a piece of cardboard and some tongue depressors or something inexpensive that I can easily dispose. Number two, do not overmix your Bondo wood filler. So, to create Bondo wood filler, you're going to mix the wood filler with a hardening cream. If you over mix this, it's going to start to dry up and then it's going to get very chunky and clumpy and the wood filler starts getting weird. It makes it very difficult to apply and I would just say be careful with over mixing. And number 3, do not mix too much at a time. For this project, you'll see that I apply wood filler to multiple areas on this table. Even though it would make sense to mix a large amount and have it ready to apply, that's a really bad idea. This product hardens relatively quick. You have about 3, maybe 4 minutes to apply once you've combined both substances together. It is much better and easier to create small amounts at a time and apply as you combine. I know this seems inefficient, but it is the best way to maximize the Bondo wood filler. Once the wood filler fully dried, I simply used a 220 grit sandpaper to sand off any excess from the surface. Okay, guys, this particular piece right here was the most damaged one. This was the make it or break it piece. I had saved all sorts of little pieces and I wanted to see if I could somehow put them back together, and my ultimate goal was to recreate the leg, like this one right here. Similar to the tabletop, I started off by trying to figure out where these pieces went. Then I glued them all together. after playing with this for about an hour or so, this is where I was. I was very pleased with the progress to get this leg looking like the other ones. As you guys can tell here, there are still various areas missing pieces. And to fix this, all I did is I added some Bondo wood filler. I told you I used a lot of it, and I really did. So I applied a generous amount everywhere that it was needed. And I just thought better safe than sorry. Let it super dry, sanded it down with a 220 grit sandpaper, and gave the leg its form back.
Cash out, had enough. Stuck here in the rut. Time to switch it up. Cool kid shopping malls. Good times, had it all. Way too comfortable. Broken dreams, one-time machines, and trips to Neverland. Take the time to free your mind. Do everything you can. So don't get it, don't let it, don't forget it. Yeah, just do it, get into it, pull through it. We fall in love and out again.
Now, even though this was the most damaged leg, all the other legs needed some TLC. So I followed the exact same process and finished them all off.
So don't get it, don't let it, don't forget it. Last call, press ignore. School's out, hit the floor, stays home, getting bored. Wild nights, all the fun. Live life in the sun, things you should have done. Broken dreams, one-time machines, and trips to Neverland. Take the time to free your mind. Do everything you can.
With all the prep work completed, it was time to start thinking of stain colors. You guys probably see that as I'm cleaning the dust off of the table, it has a very strong orange undertone. This was a very popular color probably back in the 80s, but I wanted to give it a little bit more of a modern look. I really like the idea of a whitewash, but my aunt wanted this to be a little bit more of a darker stain. And at the end of the day, she is the customer. I'm refinishing it for her. So that's what I went with. To neutralize the orange undertone that the wood originally had, I applied a very light whitewash to it. I did 3/4 of a cup of water to 1/4 of a cup of paint. And to be completely honest, I don't believe this step was necessary, but I felt the stain we chose for the table was going to clash with that orange undertone. So I went with my instinct and I just applied the wash to the piece by simply brushing it on the mixture and then removing any of the excess with a clean, lint free paper towel.
Don't let it, don't forget it. Yeah, just do it, get into it, pull through it. We fall in love and out again. It's all the same, the cycle never ends. So don't get it, don't let it, don't forget it.
Once the wash fully dried, I lightly sanded it with a 220 grit sandpaper. I wiped off all of the excess dust, and when I'm wiping these down, you can definitely see that whitewash helped neutralize that orange undertone. So mission accomplished. The stain we chose was Varathane Western Oak color. After mixing it very well, I went in with a clean brush and applied a nice even layer of stain to the table. Then, with a lint free paper towel, I removed any excess from the surface. I let this dry overnight and then lightly sanded it with a 220 grit sandpaper. Now, remember, there were numerous areas that had been filled with wood filler. Well, the stain doesn't really look the same in these areas. So, this is where I had to bring my internal Picasso and see if there was a way for me to kind of blend these areas a little bit more. I went to the store and I bought this pack of Varathane repair markers. I started to play around with the wood colors. My goal for these areas were to make them look like if they were wood knots. I thought this would be the easiest way to blend them in. I did try to apply the marker directly to the wood. You'll see me do this later. And what I realized was that it literally looked like a marker was used. And that was not what I wanted. So then I decided to apply it to a piece of paper towel. Then lightly dab and rub it into the pieces I wanted to get the stain. Due to the color choice I made, I wasn't able to just use one color. So I had to play around with blending the colors in. The best combination I found was walnut with a cherry and finally a little bit of gray.
Cash out, had enough, stuck here in the rut, time to switch it up. Cool kids, shopping malls, good times, had it all, way too comfortable. Broken dreams, one-time machines, and trips to Neverland.
I repeated this process on every area I used wood filler in. So you can imagine the amount of time it took me to blend it in. But in the end, this was necessary to ensure that the piece looked the best it possibly could. And even though it didn't come out perfect, the areas that were blended looked so much better than they did before, and I was very pleased with the results. So I decided to reassemble the table before sealing it. My reasoning behind this was to ensure that the areas that I had done some repairs and blending actually looked cohesive. And if I needed to adjust anything, I could still do it before it was sealed.
Yeah, just do it. Get into it. You pull through it. We fall in love and out again. It's all the same. The cycle never ends. So don't get it. No, don't let it. Don't forget
To seal the piece, I used varathane polyurethane, oil base, and a satin finish. I decided to use this oil based polyurethane because this table is going to be in an outdoor indoor patio area. And because it will be exposed to some natural elements, I wanted it to be taken care of. I did apply 2 layers of polyurethane and I lightly sanded in between each layer. Okay, guys, after a week's worth of work, we took this wannabe table that was covered in layers of dirt. It was destroyed by nails and screws, and we brought it back to its prime. I'm not gonna lie, I had moments of doubt and the feeling of what in the world did I get myself into? But after seeing my aunt's reaction, seeing her table brought back to life, it was so worth it. I'm so honored that she trusted me to take care of this table, and I'm so happy that it's going to continue to bring her some long lasting memories. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed working on this table. As usual, before you leave, and if you haven't done so, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And for now, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you guys next time here at Angie's Crafts Furniture Renovation. Goodbye.